All right, welcome back, peoples. We're going over October's Steam releases. So, just to preface this, I take a look at the Steam store and see what comes out on Steam for research purposes. And I try to find things that are interesting to me or seem high quality, right? And I look over it and I see what the devs are trying to do. And I do this every day. I have a whole list of October's releases here to go through. I'm probably going to only go through the standouts that I've seen over October. But, if I jab at some of these releases, don't take it in like a bad way. I just, it's just some things that I take note of in terms of what's happening with the industry. And for the most part, this is focusing only on indie development, right? So there are some games that release that come out on Steam that are like, double A, triple A studios, which I take note of on the notable releases not covered. If you take a look here, this is kind of the template I've been releasing on freaking Blue Sky, right? I just go over every day, put it on a list, and write some notes about it. So I'm going to be going over this October month. And then I have the list on the left to see what my top 10 releases are for the month to wrap things up. So let's go over it. So first on let's see. October 2nd, we have a game called No Break, No Gain. This is $5. Hopefully the audio is coming in. Let me check. Window audio is not coming in. A lot of the what's it called? The very important thing. Oh wait, let me. Wait. I don't want to do it this way. I want to do it. Let me fix the audio real quick. I just noticed that it's not coming through. You can do it. Test it. Okay, we'll just use desktop. I don't want to use desktop. No. See if this works. No, it does not. Me audio out. I only want to capture the wind. Maybe I'll have to do it like this. That's a little suspect. Okay, I wanted to use explorer.exe as the. Okay, we'll just use desktop audio for now, and I'll figure this out. Okay, so no break, no game. So this is a Trials type game. So if you guys don't know what Trials is, Trials the game. It's like you control a motorcycle and you're trying to like maintain the motorcycle throughout the level design, right? So this game is similar to that, except instead of a motorcycle and instead of being a 2D plane, you're on a 3D plane. And I find it quite interesting, right? Most games aren't trying to make Trials types game. Trials is like kind of an outdated or like mobile type game design. Not many people are making Trials games anymore. So I thought this stood out. I was like, wow. In the dawn age of roguelites and Vampire Survivor clones, we have a game that's based on Trials, right? And it adds some unique twists that normally, aren't present in Trials game, right? 3D, you can have what do you call it? I don't think there's a level editor in here, but 3D levels really opens whole new landscape. Let's see if there's a level editor. No, there's not. But as you can see, it's just it's a fun little obstacle course with four-wheeled vehicles instead of the two-wheeler. So I thought this was quite a nice game. The trailer is well made. If you look at this, a lot of trailers for these Steam games that come out daily, and we all know the shovelware that comes out. The trailers are really bad. That's the first thing I look at. I look at the thumbnail and the trailer. I just go see the thumbnail, see if the thumbnail has any effort put in, right? And then I look at the trailer, see if the trailer has any effort put in, right? Does the whatever music they put match up with the editing that they have, right? And if you look at this game, it really does match up, right? On the beats, it switches, and then there's the rotation. There's these small editing things that are here that make this seem like someone really put some effort. If you already made a game, you might as well put effort into the entire production, right? Another 7 hours for making a good trailer goes a long way. I think that goes a really long way for promoting your game and pushing someone to purchase it. So this one does a pretty good job. Pretty good job. So I like this one. If I had infinite time and infinite money, I think I would purchase. I'd be purchasing these games on these standouts that I put here. But no infinite time, no infinite money. So maybe I'll go into the backlog. I don't know. But this one definitely, I think, is worth putting on this list. Maybe on the 10th. Break. We'll start it from there. These things can move around, but we'll see. So put that out. Next one up, October 3rd. Castle of Heart. So this game, unfortunately, has come out and it's gotten 50. So this is like the indie game killer. When your game is reviewed and it's already at mixed, right? So the early negative reviews will push it down in the Steam algorithm. And unfortunately, when I first saw this game, I thought it had no reviews, and I was like, "Oh dang, this game looks pretty good. It looks like a classic action platformer, something like Contra, but instead in the medieval era." If you look at it, the trailer is really nice, right? Looks like it has a lot of quality there.
The legend speaks of a certain.
And then, right, trailer is really good. Looks like it has high production. Assets are nice.
Doomed to crumble with every step. He will break through the sorcerer's legions to reach the very heart of
no
evil.
Guns, a lot slower.
He will cross ancient swamps where old magic
From this
lingers.
trailer, it looks pretty good. So let's see what the reviews say. Let's see what people, why people have dropped it down so much. Okay, tedious, bland, boring, waste of money. So these early reviews hitting it down. Let's see what the negative only. I guess saying it's in other languages here. Let me do all languages. Okay, so maybe they're talking about the price for $20. Maybe this game wasn't right. It is quite expensive for quote unquote indie.
The legend.
$15, but from its presentation, it looks like it has those are effort put in. I think what's really giving it this negative review is that it's definitely an older genre of game, right? This is older style, right? And when games are based on these older game types from the 90s, the 80s and 90s, they definitely have some of that lack of quality of life that they might have inherited, right? I feel like if you're gonna do a modern take on the older genres, you really have to be very on point with the quality of life. I know the Mega Man's out there where it makes you restart the whole stage, or what, Ghost and Goblins, you literally restart the entire game when you die. I don't think those are necessarily should be inherited qualities. if you're gonna make a modern version of these older games, right? Unless you're like really trying to like clone it. The expectation here is if you put all these older quote unquote features, right, and then people get frustrated, you shouldn't be surprised that your game comes out with mixed reviews. Now I haven't played in this game or at all. I'm just basing it on what I see. But I definitely think from an asset and presentation standpoint, this game does really well, right? So I was definitely surprised by people overlooking that and really criticizing the genre. In my opinion, I think this is a criticize. Like if you are purchasing this game, coming in, I feel like your expectations are. You should like set your expectations, right? This game is obviously from the older generation, right? Like it's based on an older style genre. So if you come in thinking that it's going to be different, you might get this tedious bland, or the game is boring, right? Like you shouldn't have picked up this game in the first place. I don't know. That's just my personal take, right? If you're not interested in these games, of course you're gonna play it, and it's gonna be trash for you, right? So, I think this game is definitely sent to the hell of Steam with what 50% mixed negative reviews, and that's unfortunate. But from terms of presentation, I think it doesn't do too bad. So definitely think I will put it somewhere here. Castle of Heart. Okay, so that was October 3rd. Going through the list. Here's this one. So on October 6th, Super Polished. So this game, it's not necessarily like, I know it's ironic, right? It's called Super Polished, but this game is definitely not polished, right? There's like some, in my opinion, I think they could have done a little better on the gameplay loop, right? I think it's a little bit too rudimentary on its enemy design and just kind of the whole idea of cleaning up, where you can see, if you look at the trailer, the guy's just kind of spinning around, right? I really think I like the idea. It's like Nuclear Throne, but you also have to clean up the mess, which is pretty cool. I think that's pretty neat, right? But it right now in its current state, I feel like it's kind of just oonga boonga, spray water everywhere after killing everything, right? And I feel like it could have been more carefully implemented, where maybe like there's different types of cleaning style instead of just spinning with a hose, right? And then maybe the time limit is a little more crunch time, where like you kind of have to be a little more optimal with how you kill enemies and clean the floor, like how you approach cleaning up the level while cleaning up the enemies, or killing all the enemies, right? So this is a very cool idea that I thought was not executed in like the best way, but it's really cool. There's definitely a good foundation here. I definitely think this developer could take this idea and like do something cool with it, right? So I really, it stood out to me, like the game idea really stood out to me. So for this one, I don't think I'll put it on the top 10 list, right? But it's definitely neat idea that I really liked, right? I feel like this is something that could be the start of something pretty amazing, right? If they really fleshed out how the game mechanics work. So this one's pretty good. Next, Swamp Keeper. Swamp Keeper, this was October 7th. Now this game just looks like a complete game, right? And based on the reviews, I when I looked at it, I didn't have this many reviews, right? I'm kind of like doing a recheck now for these games that were earlier in the month, and I feel like the reviews match what my expectation was, right? This game is just complete, right? The game loop is well fleshed out. Assets are good. Sound design is good. Just everything is decent or above. So I feel like the developer did well. This is a good game, right? It's action, top-down action, single shot shooter, right? Where you're like you get one hit and you one hit enemies. It's pretty neat. Right, presentation's good. Trailer's well made. It's got the MMO style attack indicator, which is really good, right? That's probably if there's one thing I can say about MMOs is that those attack indicators, I really like that feature. Very good, right? Seems like there's good gameplay depth, right? Easy to pick up, kind of like somewhat difficult to master, right? So there's like a get good, you can get good at this game. Everything's good. I'm watching the trailer. Animations are nice. Everything's well drawn. It's nice and like thematic, right? All the pieces fit together well. Definitely good job. See the MMO indicators. Very nice. Yeah, pretty good. So if I put this, I'll probably put this in the middling of the pack right now. Pretty good. I think I've put some of these on the wish list, just as like a note of games that are interesting that I might want to pick up in the future. But maybe when I'm rich and I have infinite time and I don't have to, I have a lot of resources, I could just spend time playing all these indie games that come out. But not yet. So pretty good. Swamp Keeper, good job. Mytadol Games, well done. Let's see. Oh, Gun Blocks, right? This one wasn't on my standout list, but I thought it was interesting. It's like Angry Birds, but you're moving and you're like a tank or moving Angry Birds kind of. It's like the slingshot is moving. You control where the slingshot is, and you're moving through the world. I thought that was pretty neat, right? So you're like moving. Let's see. Yeah, you're this moving character, and then you kind of build the level and play Angry Birds at the same time. I thought that was pretty neat. I'm not sure where I was trying to go with the trailer and like what the objective is and like how the game progresses, but I thought it was a pretty cool idea. So something I noted, but I didn't put on the standout list. Oh yeah. All right, next one. Treasure and Trio. Okay, so this game's a little expensive. That's what I'll note from the get-go. $15. Like, it's a little pricey. Maybe I think $10 would have been a better price, but I don't know. Right? So I put this game on my standout. The 100% positive reviews with 145 people. Completely, I think I'd absolutely agree, right? It's a Sokuban type game where you like push boxes, you move characters, and do things like that. It's like a Baba Is You, but without the coding part, right? The logic case. You still have to use logic, but it's more tied to the three characters, the trio abilities. And there's a lot of they really what do you call it, with the three characters and the other blocks on these puzzles. Just from the trailer alone, I can already tell that this was like very thought out, right? Like there's a lot of ways they integrated how these three abilities work together to form puzzles with depth, right? And I can, just from the trailer, I'm like, okay, this game's pretty neat, right? There's gonna be a lot of puzzle types that you can figure out, and it's it'll be a really fun experience, right? The assets are very well themed, even though it's, you know, pixels, right? It's pretty low, low resolution. Like, there's a lot of character and like how everything is drawn. It's just very well done. Very well done. The trailer's really good. If you guys notice, right, all of these games on my standout have really good trailers, right? The audio lines up with the editing. It's well organized. It clearly shows what the game is about and highlights like the best parts, kind of, right? Like the art, the puzzle style, right? The abilities of the characters. It quickly shows the best parts of the game clearly, right? Clearly. That's the important part. It's very clear what the game is trying to do. So there are some games out there that they might have really good assets. They might look really nice. The editing might be really good with the music, but it's not clear what the game is about. I've seen a couple of those, and it just doesn't reach that like stand out potential to me, right? Because I really want to understand what the game is trying to do, and if the trailer doesn't do that, then yikes, right? So just a note for devs out there, you gotta make your trailer really clear, in my opinion. Be clear on what your game is about. But yeah, this game's pretty good. I think this would be for a Sokoban game, right? Some people aren't interested in Sokoban games. That's fine, right? But this game is definitely up there. Treasure. I think this game is very good. And those positive reviews, you know, it's early in the month, 145, 100% positive reviews. Really think they did a good job, and that's well deserved. Well deserved, 100% positive. Right. All right. Next. So that was on the 9th. Oh, okay. So this game I'm not gonna put on the list, but go over it. Right. I thought this was a neat idea. It's freaking Bloons TD, but with cubes. And, you know, the presentation's simple, but the assets aren't too good. But it fits, right? I don't know. It's just kind of this block style aesthetic, like very nostalgic, right? And that it's not too bad. It's decent, right? UI stuff, it's all decent. Nothing like too crazy, but not bad. It looks like it has some depth with the branches. Not too much, but you know, there is some choices to make. The tower defense part does not as in depth as maybe something like Bloons TD, but just enough to be playable. Playable with some choices. So anyways, I put this on the standout, but I followed up with the dev because at the end of the trailer it says it's available on mobile. And I actually think this game would be much better on mobile than it is on PC. So I went to the dev, I was like, hey, could you answer my question? And check this out. No response from the dev. Just completely dropped off, right? And I'm like, okay, if there's like no response, like this dev, it kind of really isn't active. Maybe they just released it and that was that. Because I searched it up on what is this? This is weird. Look at this, weird. But I searched it up on Android and I couldn't find it. So I asked the dev, I was like, is Android coming out? And then no response. Still no response after 20 days. So this tells me the game is kind of cooked, and you know, it looks like nobody has tried it. So is what it is. I won't put this on the list just due to that, like the no dev response. But it definitely has potential. I thought it was interesting. This was on the 10th. Okay. So some more context. I'm a platform genre player, right? I really like platforming games. Freaking Mario, Celeste, things like that. That's like my genre. Like I play a lot of platformers, a lot of platformer history. Can't recall them right now, but that's like my game genre I play a lot of. So this one I actually put on the standout list, and I played, right? I played this for what? I gave it 16 hours. It was very, in terms of, asset quality and just production overall, it's not the most polished, right? But, as a platformer player, I'm addicted to speed. So when I was watching this trailer, I was like, oh, this is my type of game, right? And it's only, what, $3? It was cheaper when it first came out on, it had like a discount sale for when it really, what do you call it? First release discount. Anyway, it's a very straightforward mini game, right? It has 3 fundamental movement mechanics with the grapple, the ground pound, and the wall jumping, like the wall sliding. So sliding, grapple, ground pound, right? Literally right here. Sliding, slam, grapple, and then wall running is like same thing as sliding, right? And that's basically it. There's 8 levels, very small mini game. Definitely $3 is exactly the price I would put this. You can even push it to 4, right? And I still think this would be that's that good price range. Anyway, the assets might be, kind of whatever, right? But the gameplay is very, very intuitive, right? It takes maybe 1-2 hours to get used to, but the gameplay for this game is just, it feels very nice, right? Once you really get into the platforming and you're like hitting the notes, the maximum platformer gamer dopamine right here. So we look at the review, right? 10 hours. I had 10 hours, right? So I put the review here, purchased it, played it for 10 hours. Definitely solid in my opinion. But if we look at some, let's not go there just yet. Look at my account. Let's see what other people have said. So the game has a weird thing where you reset too many. Okay, I don't know about that one, but let's see what else. All languages. Okay, so I don't know about this bug that they're talking about, but there are certain cases where this game kills your speed instantly, which I got very tilted at. But it's because it's like a mechanics thing, right? If you don't hold slide at like the exact, like if you're kind of late on holding or pushing the slide button down when you hit the surface, it kills all your speed. So maybe this person was finding that, but they say that it was due to the resetting too many times. I don't know. The tutorial, I will say, is not very good. So the tutorial of this game is pretty bad. Definitely, like, that's what I mean by, like, you have to get an hour, 2 hours to get used to, like, how the game works. You kind of have to explore, though, because the tutorial, if I were to do the tutorial, I'd do it very differently, right? I feel like the tutorial in this game, not very good. But because I already have so much history with platformers, I was able to figure it out on my own. But I could see if someone who doesn't have a lot of experience with platformer games, they pick up this game, they go through the tutorial, they just get clapped, right? So, like, I feel like this person might have not been, maybe not as experienced. So, I feel like as an indie dev, if you're, or just a developer in general, if you get good at your game, or you're like, you already have so much experience with the genre of something you're trying to make, you kind of lose that new player lens that is really important for maybe people coming into the genre or picking up your game who isn't as an experienced of a gamer just in general, right? Like, just from experience, there's this game called Recoil, right? That was on the blind race. I do blind races with a group of people, right? Here, Recoil game. If you're not experienced you don't have that much experience in platformers, you kind of don't get. You might not be able to pick up on certain things that are important for the gameplay, right? So if you guys look at that blind race, you can see exactly what I mean by that. But I'll just leave it that where it is. So Chaser, I thought it was pretty good. I actually picked it up because it was cheap enough and it looked small. It looked like a small game that I could play for like. I ended up playing it for 10 hours, but you know, it was pretty good. I liked it a lot. Definitely, I think it would go like right here. Pretty decent. I recommend if you like platformers, you should go try it. Definitely pretty good. All right. Next one. Championship Edition. Plain Crazy. Take a look at this game. So, from the get-go, trailer is set up pretty well. You know, it's got the splash screen. Once the music starts, it instantly cuts to the gameplay. Very clear what the gameplay is about, right? It's an airplane racing game. And I just thought this was neat. It's not like like something that's like a super. Okay, here, let me preface this. The game doesn't have to be like a super big project to stand out for me, right? When I put a game on the standout list, it's just something that is based on the current industry, right? So like your Vampire Survivors game, it's going to be very hard for me to look at a Vampire Survivors clone and be like, that stands out, right? Because there's so many clones of that genre that I'm like, it really needs something to push it beyond me just thinking that it's a clone, right? But for like games that come out that are like completely out of the water, like who is making an old school plane racing game, right? That really stands out to me, right? That someone decided that they are trying to make a modern or their take on this kind of dead genre, right? That, you know, people are not making this game, right? So it looks well made, right? So the trailer is decent, not too amazing, but that had some thought put into it, right? Had some editing. Not bad, not amazing. Highlights gameplay features, right? You're racing, there are some power-ups, highlight some of the obstacles, right? Some of the gameplay depth, how much skill might be required, speed at which it goes. It even has the prompts, right? Like typical racing games where they show you what you need to do next, which is nice. Good quality of life. It just looks like a overall decent old school N64 era, PS1 era racing game. So I thought it was well done. Well done. Very simple. The scope of the project and what they tried to do in that scope seems very complete. So I feel like they did a good job. All right. So this one, let's see. I think I could put it down here. These numbers might move. We'll see. I'll Plain Crazy. Oh wait, I don't know if there was a. I kind of have that blocked out. Okay. Put that right there. All right. Next up, so that was on what? October 12th. And then now we're on October 13th. We have Spindle. How long have we been? 40 minutes. Spindle. Presentation. Trailer. Very good. I'll tell you this right now. If your presentation trailer is very good and your gameplay is clear, you almost have a 100% chance getting on to standing out to me, right? That's already a lot for the typical average game being released on Steam. Having a good trailer is what, 5%. I'd say 5% of all the games that release on Steam have a good trailer. So, just important. See, it matches with the music, highlights what they want, clear what the gameplay is. Think of this as like a Zelda-like with Souls dodge roll. Some puzzle elements, just like Zelda. You can play as different characters, right? The pig and the skeleton. Just decent game, right? Well made, good presentation. 98% positive reviews. Expected, right? Completely expected. They did a good job. So $20 is a little pricey, though. I will say that $20 is a little pricey, but this game, well done. Old, top-down Zelda-like, very good. And then Jet Gunner. Refuel. So, this game is, I would say, like Contra Mega Man like, right? Just from presentation, you know what you're getting into. And if you guys have noticed, like these old school style games are not getting many sales, right? It's because I think current culture, people aren't trying to play like the side scroller shoot 'em up style games, right? If you saw from Castle Retold, this game not getting very much sales, but it's not like I wouldn't say that they're bad, right? It's just not a popular genre right now. Versus something like the previous game with Spindle, it's like kind of like a Zelda like that it inherits from a very popular, still currently popular, like gameplay style, right? I can feel the old school design. It's also going to highlight, it has like 8 old school style. Oh wait, maybe it's a different 8-bit difficulty. So okay, it's high. I don't necessarily old school game mechanics. I don't know. I would say that they're difficult. More so, like they're an era of old school games, right? I'm not necessarily. We'll have a podcast on this with. You guys will see it. Karushi Drive's channel. We'll have a podcast on what difficulty means, but it's highlighting. I feel like when it says something like this, it might push people away because most people aren't trying to have the old school style difficulty in their. Right? Let's see what the reviews say. Yeah, positive. Is there any negative reviews? In all languages, there's one negative review. That's about expected, right? But for the most part, it's all positive, right? People coming into this game, they know what if you're purchasing this game, you know what you're getting into, right? So I would say that it's unlikely to get a negative review unless you're expecting something more, question mark, right? So I thought this game is pretty neat. I don't think I would put this on the top 10 list, but it's definitely something I'm down to play, right? Platformer, I love these type of games, but yeah, maybe I'd play this. I'm not sure. It's on the wish list, but I'd have to think about it. 8-bit difficulty, I don't know. Mega Man games give me a lot of frustration. I like them, but having to restart everything is, I don't know. I'm not a Mega Man head. What's next? That was the 13th. Racketeer. Oh. Ah, okay. So this one. Trailer's okay. I'm a big fan of raccoons or animals just in general, so I like the theming, right? It's also pretty funny, right? You convert trash to money. I thought that was a neat idea as a raccoon. Pretty slow-paced trailer, but that makes sense for this. What do you call it? Colony simulator, right? Or it's basically a number go up game, idle number go up game. But I thought the theming was very interesting, and it's narrative based, right? Most idle games are just going number go up. This one actually has a small narrative tied to it that I thought was a neat inclusion from your typical idler game that comes out. Yeah, I thought it was neat. So if we look at the reviews here, I think there was, yeah, it's a super short game, right? That's kind of what I was expecting. Because there's a narrative tied to it, it's not one of those infinite idler games where you're like trying to hit infinity. I just thought for what the scope of the game was trying to do, it does it well. It's not asking for too much, $6. For what it is, it's good, in my opinion. What I gather from the trailer and how it's presented, for the scope of the game, I think it does a good job. That's my expectation. If I were to purchase this, I think it would do a good job. I'm not gonna put it on a list because I actually don't like idler games that much, but I did think it stood out to me as an idler game. That was on the 15th. This one. I think this one will be my number one for October. So this isn't really an indie game, to be honest, but I don't think it's like an indie game for the Americas, right? For the West, not an indie game for the East, right? Because it's published by Bilibili, very big company, or what is the YouTube of freaking Asia, right? Bilibili, very big. So not really an indie game for East, like the East, but it's an indie game for the West. So it's a parody on, the name is a parody on Escape from Tarkov, right? Extraction shooter, but it's top down and you play as ducks that shoot each other, right? I thought that was very funny. Presentation's really good. Seems well made. Asset seems nice. You can see the extraction shooter part, right? It's very clear. It's like a camera system. You have a hub. There's the vision system, which I really like. Yeah, just the trailer has high production value, right? And it's really nice highlights exactly what the game has. A lot of cool enemies. It even highlights the enemy AI. The depth of the enemies. Highlights a lot of the different weapon types. So it is a little pricey, but I think it's well worth it. I feel like the amount of content there is in this game that it's planning to have is going to be very good. So the price is fine, right? So this is definitely going on the number one slot for me. I think they did a really good job in how they presented this game, and just the whole gameplay loop in general seems very good. We have overwhelmingly positive with 4,600 reviews. So this is actually very good for a game that just came out this month. This game is doing well, right? It's definitely made back some of the money that was put into it. Some of these other games probably not, But this game definitely is picking up, picking up traction with the gaming community. Seems well made. I think this game is good. That was on the 16th. So 15 days, and it's already gotten almost 5,000 reviews. That's pretty good for a indie game. Right. Here's next one, October 19th. Down Mouse. Arcade style game, right? So again, I'm not really looking at how much content the game has. I'm looking at how well it does what it's trying to do. Like, if the scope is small, that's right. Like I'll say again, it's fine. As long as it does what it's trying to do well. And I feel like this game, small arcade game, gameplay loop is nice. Seems like you can get better at it, right? You can be skilled in the dodging and shooting and aiming, right? There's some depth to the improvement. It's a score based, right? So the more you kill, the higher score you get. It's not necessarily about survival. Or surviving usually will give you a higher score because you live longer. But you want to try to kill as many things as possible, right? So it's not what do you call it? Linear in the sense, oh, I'm trying to go down as far as possible. It's like, how far can I go down while maximizing my score? And it's a pretty rudimentary in that sense too, but that's more depth than I would typically expect from like a super mini arcade game, right? Like Super Crate Box. So I feel like it does a decent job. Assets they match, right? They're not amazing, but they fit well together. The color scheme's good. So I thought this game does pretty well. I don't think I would put it within the top 10 standout games this month, but it's a nice small game. October 22nd. Big hitters on October 22nd. A lot of standouts. Here, my favorite one from October 22nd is definitely this one. Very stylized rhythm game. You can just immediately tell from the trailer that high production value, right? High production value. Whoever the artist was here for this game, they really nailed like the style and vibe. So it's completely blown away by the stylization of the game. Super good. Trailer's well made. Like, just look at the style that
to make you feel better.
You can feel like the artist
Is it
is
Is it 4? Together we are 6. And 4.
I really like the music too, like electronic music. It's nice. Nothing too crazy. I think they started off with a really good beat. This, like, whatever this riff or tune is, I'm not a music person, but that's a really catchy, like, pull your attention type beat. So, really well done. So I definitely would put this on my second game, Hyperbeat. I like rhythm games, not very good at them, but I do enjoy them. So, pretty good. And then we have our shmup, Rail Shmup. Check this out. Not a popular genre of game people are making. Like Star Fox. This is a Star Fox stuff. Following like the camera and definitely not my like. I'm not a huge shmup player. You guys have read my posts. See that I like shmups that don't have all these things happening. I like more shmups, slower. This This is a little too much chaos for my brain. Definitely, it looks decent, looks alright. I'd say the assets look good and presents itself well in terms of like what I like playing this game. Why not? But definitely it seems like it's well made for the people that do it in there. Well done. Looks nice. Looks good. The trailer is not as good as the previous one, but it's serviceable. It does the job. The good old days. It's hard to search this one. I misspelled it. So, if you guys noticed here today, or on October 22nd, all the games on the standout, like they're really stylized. Like they like hit the marks. Like all the assets match together with themselves to create a game that's has a certain theme, right? So for example, this game, it's like Mother, right? It definitely has like that Mother aesthetic with like the kind of Halloweenish, you know, dark. It's like not necessarily like dark as in like cool, but like comedic dark, like Scooby-Doo kind of dark, right? Especially with the background music, with the kind of like the JRPG opening. It's like got a dark theme, but it's lighthearted, like a lighthearted. It all fits together really well. I also liked how it's like a Metroidvania, but instead of getting new abilities, you find your friends who have different, you know, abilities that they can use that you can switch between. I thought that was a really creative way of. It's functionally the same as unlocking new abilities in a Metroidvania, but it's a creative, thematic way to have it in the game. Right? So I thought that was really cool. But I feel like this dev did a pretty good job, right? Mostly positive reviews. Wait, if we go back real quick. Go back another one. Definitely the theme game is easier to pick up than these more niche genres. But you know, they're all still very positive. So that's well in my expectations, right? I look at this game and I'm like, okay, it's gonna do pretty good. In terms of indie like sales and people reviewing it, I feel like it'll definitely more on the positive side. And then for the final one, Relic Guardian. A little pricey for a tower defense, but you know, tower defense more easily picked up, not as niche of a genre. The art style, again, very thematic, very stylized. You can feel the artist. The trailer's okay. I think the cute anime type girls are definitely in favor for the gamer audience, right? That stuff. See here, there's, if you guys know that Animal Crossing meme, I feel like that was a reference there. I thought that was pretty funny with like the pose here that they're doing. And it looks like it has some depth. The depth isn't too high. Right, I don't think it's like, oh, there's multiple branches and stuff that are like super complex, and I'm not sure if there's like a resource you have to manage. That's all that. Yeah, I don't think they show the UI here, so yeah, I can't really tell how the gameplay depth of this tower. But you know, from its presentation, it looks neat. Looks like it has interesting mechanics. You have like your main champion, orange character that can also interact with the enemies, right? It's kind of like Sancta, where you have your champion. Sancta, I don't know if you guys know Sancta, the FPS tower defense. You have a character that places the towers and also can fight the little units that are trying to invade. right? So that's a neat aspect that doesn't exist. Every just very stylized, very bouncy and cute and bouncy type game. So it's neat, well done. Definitely the art sells this game. I feel like the gameplay is like it's there, but I feel like most people when they look at this game, they're like, oh yeah, the art's really nice and like it's fun to look at. So I feel like this game does a good job of that. I don't think I'll put it on this. Let's see if I had to change it here. Plain crazy. Put it relic. Okay. So that was October 22nd. A lot of heavy hitters that day. There was 56 games released. There's a lot of interesting stuff. Oh. I'm telling you guys, if your assets are really stylized, oh my goodness, it goes super long way. Check out this one. Okay, roguelike deck builder. Oh, it's another roguelike deck builder. Okay, that's true, but take a look at this. Super stylized. It's got like the Persona 5 combined with the cowboy aesthetic as well as the cowboy UI, right? That's neat. I think all of this UI stuff, very neat. Very pleasant to look at. Very cinematic, right? They put a lot of work into how the game visually tells the theme. A lot is very stylized. Everything, right? The store, how you attack, the menu, the enemy. I feel like the person who made this game is very movie centered, right? Like if they were a director for a movie, they'd have like really good vision for it. I feel like this game is very cinematic, which yes, it's another roguelike deck builder, but definitely the presentation is one of the best I've seen for a roguelike deck builder. Even better than this. Not gameplay wise, but just in terms of presentation, I'd say it's the best roguelike deck builder. Presentation wise, gameplay wise, I don't know, right? Gameplay wise, I'd guess that it's actually not that great. I feel like the depth might be pretty shallow, but that's just a guess. I haven't actually played this game. I just purely based on presentation alone, I really think this game does very well. 98% positive reviews. I feel like if more people know about this game, they might be more incentivized to pick it up. I don't think it has very good marketing because I would have never known about this game unless it's only because I've been doing this daily release thing that I know this game exists. Right? I literally have not. I've seen nobody talking about it. There's no traction in social media or game websites, just nothing. Right? Despite the presentation. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. Put that. Roguelike deck builder, not very interested.
Hey, I'm Friedemann, and this is my new game, Slots and Daggers. You might know this sort of trailer from my previous games like Summer House, Islanders, or Super.
So Slots and Daggers definitely had more marketing than Barrel Roll. But this was, came out the following day. And because this game has a lot more marketing, it already had an audience before it released, right? So this... You can tell by the amount of reviews it has, 1,367. It definitely has more traction than the previous game I was talking about, and that just goes to show how important people knowing about your game even exist is for the indie market, right? So Slots and Daggers gameplay, I'd say probably pretty shallow, but in terms of presentation, it's also very high up there, right? Definitely one of the most unique
So here's a
games
quick
that I've
intro
seen.
to how this game works. Slots and Daggers is a tactical slot machine game. You spin to fight, defeat enemies, earn coins, and then use those coins to buy new symbols and power-ups.
So definitely has
Simple,
surface
so here's how
level
it gets interesting.
gameplay.
There are tons of combo mechanics to discover.
But
3 spins,
presentation
poison
is just off the charts. Right?
stun attacks.
The guy even says that he spent a long time on the presentation and how the effects and sound effects come together. And you can obviously tell, like, this game in terms of how everything meshes together, it's up there with this like top tier how the game is put together. In terms of actual game mechanics and gameplay, I would say that it's probably on the lower end of complexity, right? It's kind of just the game is there. It's reminiscent of gambling, which is fun, right? So slot machines are fun to some extent, but I really think it's the presentation that really sells it in this case. So pretty good. Traction, guys. Having a media presence before you release your game is pretty important. Obviously very hard to do, but you know, if you get lucky, working hard isn't always mean that you'll succeed, but it's definitely part of getting that luck to get people to know that your game exists, right? This guy put a lot of work into presentation and it picked up some traction on social media, and you know, he's got 1,400 reviews. That's really good. That is definitely top 1% of Steam games that release, right? Getting this much, you know, what do you call it? Getting this much feedback and purchases for a game that just released, definitely top 1%. Top 1%. This one's actually indie, unlike the Escape from Duckov, which is, you know, published by Bilibili, which is huge. So I think this is the most successful real indie game that's come out this month. I don't think it's another roguelike deck builder, so I don't think I'd put it on this list. I've played Slay the Spirehead. I got like enough hours in Slay the Spire and a bunch of other roguelites that I'm kind of done with the genre, but you know, it's probably good. All right, October 27th, so we're almost at the end here. October 27th, Blood Right. So, this style of game, very rare. I don't think this is a commonly done perspective, which is why it stood out for me. Like, the entities are all fixed in perspective while you rotate the camera around the map. The map rotates, but your entities are in a fixed perspective. And I thought that was really neat. It's I'd say this game is very similar to what the older Resident Evil style. Actually, no, it's not, because the camera moves with the character. Maybe the newer one, right? Trailer, decent. Highlights what the game is about. Highlights the perspective. Highlights the horror theming, right? It's even got the, I'd say like the inventory system of Resident or Silent Hill, kind of, or how you interact with the maps. Yeah, something like this. This reminds me of those older horror games, or even like, I think, yeah, the older ones. Kind of got that Luigi's Mansion like light flashlight effect. What I saw here, which I thought was pretty interesting, right? Luigi's Mansion is a pretty unique mechanic. I think. I don't think I've ever seen another game try to replicate that, where you have to like flash something and then do something. Maybe another variation of that is that camera horror game where you have to like take pictures of ghosts, kind of. With all the horror games that release on Steam, this is definitely one of the higher quality ones, I would say. Like horror themed, horror style, right? So, all right, does a pretty good job. I typically don't play horror games, but I thought this one was done well. There's a lot of horror games that release on Steam, and I tell you, 95% of them are another Slender Man clone. Can you believe it? Slender Man clones are still being made this day and age. Like, it's crazy. Like, Walking Simulator horror game number 2005. Like, I'm not trying to hate on it, but like some of these horror games that come out, like they're just like Unity or Unreal asset walking simulators. Come on, guys. Have a little more pride in selling something. You're putting it on the store for money. Have a little more pride. Okay, Motion Wreck. Check this game out. This is probably going to go on my number 3. Motion Wreck. I don't think this is exactly new, but it's so uncommonly done that when I saw it, I was very surprised. I thought this was very neat. Trailer starts off kind of, right? I'm not sure if this is how. I'm not sure if I would choose it to start like that, but that's fine. I think I would start off here, like right here. This cut into there was really good. That really pulled me in. I was like, oh wow. Like the shift was like amazing trailer. But like this early part, I was kind of like put off. But when it got to here, I was like, I like leaned in because I was interested. Right? Trailer, extremely clear. This trailer is extremely clear at what this game is trying to do. Very nice, right? It's like showing you the first tutorial, but like that's enough to tell me exactly what the game is going to be about. Right? So you record actions and you replay them in different areas to solve puzzles. And I was like, wow. I don't think it's what's it called? It's not brand new, but it's definitely not commonly done. The old Ratchet and Clank's game had something similar. Like, you know those time puzzles? Like time puzzle games do something similar. But I feel like the way it's presented here is pretty unique and well done. I feel like this is a type of game where casually you can do the puzzles as intended and like it works just fine, but you can also break this game. I feel like this game is very breakable, which is fine too, right? That's not a big deal. How someone approaches a puzzle can be done in multiple ways. That's great. So I feel like the game design here, I feel like is really good. Assets, music, they're all decent, above average, but the game design, I feel like it was really well done. Like they came up with a really creative idea. I'm just looking at the potential here, and it's there. What you can do. Yeah, presentation really good, above average. So this game definitely going up on number 3. I'm definitely very interested in this one. Okay, let's see. All right, some more coming up. So this is October 29th. So we got 2 more days left. some 4 more games to go over. How long does this take? We're at the 1 hour 30 minutes. Earth versus Mars. One thing I'll appreciate, games with voice. Actually, some games really...
What was once purely the realm of science fiction has now become a terrifying reality. Martian forces struck quickly last night,
Here to patch you up.
attacking dozens of cities across the globe.
Reinforcements inbound!
This is our territory.
Computer has... Alright, I think my computer has had to do a little reset. Okay, we spoke a little bit. Are we back? Open. Okay, I think we're back. I think we are... Okay, I think we're back. So Earth versus Mars.
Reality. Martian forces struck quickly.
It is an advanced wars type game. Not very commonly, not a common genre to release.
Last night,
assets are done
Here to
well.
patch you up.
attacking
Characters
dozens of cities across
seem
the
to have
globe.
good characterization.
Reinforcements inbound!
The voice acting really supports.
This is
the
our
narrative
territory.
and Building
What's this
the
technology
characters
of
up, right?
yours?
Imagine this game with no voice acting. It's harder to tell the characters' personalities and like they are, but with like the voice acting, it's more, you're more immersed into the game, right? So I feel like having voice acting in this game, very good choice.
And why do the Martians want it?
Advanced Wars is not a popular genre. I feel like this game is actually very well made, but it's not going to pick up traction because the genre type is not as easily... It's not your 2D platformer, Metroidvania, roguelike deck builder, right? It's Advanced Wars. And Advanced Wars is pretty niche. Right?
So bad.
And it takes a long time.
It's a way to
not
come-
something you can really like maybe spend 30 minutes, an hour. I mean, people aren't spending 30 minutes an hour on Silksong or whatever. They're putting like 6-hour, freaking marathons playing that game. But like, it's just
Combine the atomic properties of different species to give one creature
unfortunately
the
not
physical capabilities
as
of another.
popular of a genre. Despite how well it looks, look, I feel like it has high gameplay depth with the morphing mechanic. There's a morphing mechanic where you can combine 2 units to make a new unit. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy new for Advanced Wars. I feel like that's an amazing, creative game mechanic that gives it a lot of depth, actually. But I feel like this game's not going to get picked up that well because it's Advanced Wars.
Colonel, we
But I
can't
feel
just
like they've
keep
done a good
feeding
job.
our people into a blender.
This thing
Look at the
works.
voice acting. It's just this game's quality just seems so high.
It could give us the tools we need to end this war.
But you look at the gameplay and it's kind of slow because Advanced Wars is slow. And it has a map editor. Like what does this game lack that would make it a bad video game, right? I look at this and I'm like, there's just, how can this game be bad? There's so many features. There's voice acting. It's just, let's see. This guy gives it a negative review because they're playing through Steam Deck and there's a number of issues. Probably true, right? They say that it's an okay Advanced Wars clones with a gimmick with the merging, right? That's like the gimmick. I've played Wargroove before, and I like Wargroove a lot. I'm not that interested in the second game, but you know, Advanced Wars, I like the games, but they definitely take a while. Like some of the missions, you can sit there, and if you don't pass it, you have to redo it, and it's like another hour or 2 hour of the same level, building up the resources, building up. I'd say this game, good quality. I think I'd put it up here on this. My listing update. Hyper. Let's see. Which one would I switch it with? I'd probably switch it with Castle of Hearts. I'm not such a big fan of Zelda. Like, put it right here. Earth. Next one, Orbis. So this is a marble game. Very stylized marble game. The theme is there. They chose a theme and they stuck with it. Very clear what theme they're going for, like kind of like futuristic laser neon world puzzle. Right? We're teleporting, time shenanigans, physics shenanigans. This is just a very stylized marble game with, you know, the added puzzle mechanics of teleportation, maybe cooling, and physics, which is great. Like, the presentation of this game is great. I definitely feel like this would be a great, just a great game. This is definitely something I would play. Pick up and play, right? And be like, oh yeah, it's fun. Got 96 positive out of 29. I don't feel like it'll get that much traction. It's the like when you go. Okay. Indie devs, right? If you're trying to make a game successful, it needs to pick up traction, right? And then you're like. It's a combination of luck and following the trend, right? You see a game like Mega Bonk, which is basically a Vampire Survivors that got traction. Another Vampire Survivors like that got traction. 3D, it hit all the memes, picked up by the streamers, got 1 million sales after a month, right? Right. Those are like kind of the Oonga Boonga like gamer audience. It's hard to really pick up the audience without having something like that's kind of Oonga Boonga, like Brotato, Vampire Survivors, right? What are the other ones? Mega Bonk. Sure, there's other similar style of games that get picked up, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, you make like this marble game, and I'm like current culture. Just maybe if this game came out in like 2004, it could have gotten picked up a lot easier, right? Where like kind of the space was less trendy, right? It was less trendy. It was less about like less trendy and less about numbers going up, which is what a lot of current indie culture is right now, about making number go up games, unfortunately, in my opinion. Like there's a space for number up games, but I feel like that's like the flooded market right now. It's like every game's trying to be a number up, roguelike, some deck builder, get your super powerful end game build and just blow everything up kind of deal. So like a game like this where it's just like a kind of like a orb puzzle platformer that's like stylized, is like it's hard to get traction. People are just like, single player, No replayability, right? They want their quote unquote value, question mark. So I feel like this game, well made, good presentation, seems like it has decent ideas. Definitely higher up on the quality list of games that are being released on Steam. A little pricey, 15, but I don't feel like it's that pricey. If I look at the reviews, how much gameplay time there is. Let's see. About 5, 6, 7 hours. And some people are getting this for 15, 22. Yeah, maybe it depends on how much time you spend on the puzzles, but there's a good amount of content here. Good amount of content that you can approach on a casual level. There's no like, I need to do this or that. It's a stressful. This definitely feels like a game where you can like sit down and peacefully enjoy. So decent. I think I would also pick this up. Let me see, which one would I replace? Maybe this one. Well done, well done. Misty Whale. Very good job. Good job. Let me make sure my stream. Okay. Alright, two more. Cosmic Destroyer. Okay. Check this out. Who would have thought a Gradius would release in 2025? Okay. Crazy. This is definitely the most polished, because I've actually seen Gradius games come out on Steam on like the off chance, like it's maybe like one every 6 days, but usually they're like super bare bones and they don't really do much with the genre. This is the completely opposite. Got like rotating maps, presentation's good, it has that classic Gradius gameplay, right? The theming is there. Just everything about this is like extremely polished. This is like if you're gonna make a Gradius game, I feel like it needs to be at this level to even have a chance at getting picked up. And look at this. Okay, sorry. Since we're on the later days, this game just came out 3-4 days ago. Gradius is not in. Question mark. I think this game is great. Right? I would definitely pick this game up for myself. But I love Gradius games. Right? Euro shmups, like the more less crazy shmup games, definitely in my vote of things I like to play, right? So if you just look at this, it's like, look at the quality. This is a high quality Gradius game, right? It's got like some grapple mechanic, you can throw objects. Like what is not there, right? It's even got newer features like rotating maps, right? That's usually not present in most Gradius style games. Like the camera movement, just not there. This game has that. Right? Definitely very good. Did a good job. I'm sad. I feel like if this game doesn't get picked up, I would be sad because it definitely seems well made. And that's the sad thing, right? That's the sad thing. There's so many games. when people release a lot of low quality games, right? There are some good quality games that just get buried. They get buried because nobody out here is looking. They're not looking at these things. Right? Very few people actually look at what's released the day of. They kind of just follow whatever the Steam algorithm gives them, right? And the Steam algorithm only picks up games that have traction, right? And for developers that don't have the marketing, the money, the audience, right? Or the luck question mark, they're gonna get cooked. They're gonna get cooked. Their game is gonna get drowned out by all the low quality, right? No pride developers that just put whatever. It's one thing to be a new developer and just want to release something. But it's like your first game, you know, you're a new developer, you just want to put something on the store. There's that. And then there's the people that are trying to, I don't know, make it big question mark with like a trend release. Like it's definitely rough. You don't have the audience beforehand, it's definitely rough, right? Because there are good games out there that are getting no traction. No traction. No, they aren't making back their money, right? Because currently you look at the, what's it called? The sales of Steam games, it's very top 1%, like a middling 5-10%, and then just 85% failure, right? 85% failure. And a lot of those things in the 85% should fail, right? Because they're just literally, I hate to put it this way, but they're literally trash. Like the trailers are just bad. Here, what we're gonna do today or yesterday's. I'm gonna do it a day beforehand. We're gonna do November 2nd game release right after this, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean. So we'll get there. Cosmic Destroyer, well done, super good. Arm of Satan. So this is the last day, October 31st. October 31st. Arm of Satan, Chapter 1. Platformer. Gimmick platformer. You got an arm. The Arm of Satan has some mechanics. You use it to kill enemies and platform. Just thematically decent. Trailer's decent. Gameplay seems like a nice, fun platformer. Not too gimmicky. Just seems like a decent overall theme platform. Reminds me of the Splunky remaster, the art style. Great. Gameplay's clear. What it's trying to do. You have some mechanics with your Arm of Satan that help you navigate the level.
Do you know who I am? Hey.
Trailer is a bit slow paced, but I don't know what this chapter 1 is all about, but yeah, it seems decent. You know, since I already played Chaser, I'll just take it off. Seems like a fun little platformer. Scope seems okay for what it is. Assets decent. Game is decent. Kind of reminds me of what's called Hellboy. I mean, just say it. I mean, yeah. that kind of makes sense, right? Hellboy aesthetic right here. All right. So there's the list. I think these are top 10 games released, or that I'm interested in, right? Top 10 games for me this October. We have number 1, Escape of Duckov. Number 2, Hyperbeat. 3, Motion Wreck. 4, Treasure and Trio, right? 5, Swamp Keeper. Earth vs. Mars. 6, 7 is Orbis. 8 is Relic Guardian. 9, Arm of Satan. 10, Cosmic Destroyer. And you see, these are all pretty varied in genre, right? Escape of Duckov, extraction shooter. You have a rhythm game. You have a puzzle, gimmick puzzle, platformer. You have a Sokuban, a top-down shooter, Advanced Wars, 3D platformer with gimmicks, tower defense, 2D platformer, and a Gradius style game. There's some decent variety in terms of things that really stood out to me. All right. So let's do November 2nd. So we're going to November. I did November 1st. There was 14 games released. There was a big heyday of game releases for a Halloween, right? That last week of October, oh my goodness. There was an average of 50 games releasing a day. That's insane. That is an insane number. And like, if you're releasing a game in that standpoint, like, if you don't have that audience or that traction, you're just gonna get drowned out. You're gonna get drowned out by 50 games being released a day, right? And those games most of them are not very high quality, and it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So November 2nd. Oh my goodness, today is wait. I gotta hide. So this is my methodology for doing this. I hide free to play stuff, and I do not look at DLC. Right? Games. And then I count up how many release. So I'm gonna do it a day beforehand. In October, I was doing it at like 6, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. But there would still be some games released at the 9 p.m. to 12 p.m. day point where I've already done the research or the review, and those games get missed out. So from now on, this November, I'm going to be doing it a day after so that I get all the games more accurately. So we're going to go through the methodology. So this was November 1st. We go first game November 2nd. We count them up. 5, 10, 15, 20, 5. Nope, not 25. 22 games released. So now that October is past, we're not getting those like 60, 70, 80 games being released every day. So it's dropped back to your average number, which is like kind of around 15 to 25. Apparently I heard that Japan releases games on like Tuesday or something. Tuesdays. I can't confirm that. Something I heard. So 22 games released. I go to my random number generator. I can put it in here. Random number generator. To choose which game. Oh wow, 22. So I'm gonna choose the first game that released. 22. I anti-sized again. Okay, I'm actually not gonna choose this game because normally my filter, if I was using my Steam account, my filter would cut this game out. So I'll just do the one on top. So I go to my list. Here's my list, by the way. I go to something like this. I go, okay, I got 1 out of 22. Here, since I'm cutting that one out, I'll put 21 out of 22. All right. I go to the game. The game name is what? Dark Fighter. I just open this up in a new tab. It is made by Chinese developer. Go here. Do paste with formatting. Look at the price. Price is $2. 40% off. 2 USD for 120. Take a little snipping tool. The thumbnail. Go here. Thumbnail's funny. funny thumbnail, right? Because we got certain audience, right? Gamers are a certain audience, question mark. It's a, what, JRPG, Slay the Spire? I think I saw this yesterday, but... trying to see if it's Slay the Spire. It is! Here's my action points, right? Cost 1. I think there's another trailer. Yeah, it's I don't think it looks like Slay the Spire with the cards, but I think there's like an overworld, and like you're not like necessarily building a deck out of, I mean, you're building your character, which is implemented through cards, right? Trailers all over the place. Some of the UI doesn't make sense to me. Like, even if it was in English, I don't think it would. Like, some things are clear, like, oh yeah, here's the boss health bar. I'm not necessarily sure what's going on. The editing, flashing between multiple scenes, like, kind of randomly, just like, the trailer is passable, but I would not say that this is a good trailer. So I go here. I'm like, okay, what does this game seem like? Let's say it's some art. It's an RPG that has card-based elements similar to that of Slay the Spire, travel, and overworld hexagon map. Counters while empowering your own character. Assets are okay, they're not that great. Assets are okay. Sometimes they do not match or theme together well. UI is somewhat unorganized and clunky or like doesn't mesh well. RPG mechanics are not evident from the trailer. It wasn't obvious to tell what the RPG mechanics were. Seems subpar. And then that'd be that. So that's done. And then I just go through and I see what the thumbnail, what the game is about. Like I'd go over this. I'd see the thumbnail. Okay, what's the genre of the game? And then I'd kind of look at the scrolling of the pictures here. What do you call it? The preview. And a lot of times I'm like, okay, this looks like an Unreal asset for okay, these horror games, right? Project X. It just looks like someone took some assets, put them together, and it's a walking simulator, right? And this is what I mean by like a lot of horror games that come out are like this, and we'll take a look at it. Alright, see, we see the choppiness of the movement here, which is like unusual. The trailer's not even very smooth, right? It's not even at 60 FPS, right? Because the trailer is choppy, which doesn't make any sense, right? In my opinion, like, what is causing the game to be choppy like this, right? This isn't like, oh, there's a lot of entities or like fluid mechanics or like, is it shader? Is it ray tracing on the lighting? The editing is okay in this case, right? Where, yeah, it kind of matches the audio. But like, it's just so choppy. Like, immediately this choppiness makes me want to exit, right? I'm like, okay, this trailer, they couldn't get high quality video for their own game, right? You put all this effort making a game, your trailer's at what, 25 FPS? For what reason? If there was a reason for it, I'd understand, right? If there was like a lot of entities, it's like a high calc or high resource game, okay, 25 FPS, fine, whatever, right? But this is literally a walking simulator. This is literally a walking simulator, right? Is it ray tracing? Why do you have ray tracing in your walking simulator? Like, I don't know. Level design seems rudimentary, right? Labyrinth. At least they put effort in the editing with the audio, right? I'll give them that. I'll give them, they time the edits with the audio. That's nice. It has that. Some trailers don't even have that, right? So at least this one has that. But this is not something I'd put on the list, right? A lot of horror games kind of like, I'm telling you guys, this is what's coming out. Wow, okay. Not to bash. I'm not trying to like bash on it, but like this is what's coming out. This is what's coming out. So that was just an example. Here, let me look at it. I look at the pictures, I'm like, okay. Was Civilization hexagon 4K map? I'm like, okay, it kind of, this doesn't show me anything like unique or new about the genre it's trying to be. I'll click on it just to see what it is, but for me, I'm like, that's something I would also pass over. Team-based Polter Party. This is kind of like, okay, friend slop, right? They're trying to cash in on the co-op trend that's happening right now with like Peak and Lethal Company and Repo, right? This feels in that vein. And when I see something like this, I'm like, if I look at it and I'm like, the quality's not high enough, I just skip over as well. Like, I skip over things that are like trying to follow trends, right? They're kind of just they're not really made with the intent of someone wanting to like make a game. Rather, someone wants to cash in on the trend and try to make money, right? I try to skip over those things. This looks like another Unreal asset or Unity asset game, right? There's sometimes people just take the assets and they like kind of shovel it together and like say that it's a game and release it for money. So, but you know, it looks okay. I'll check it out. This looks like I don't think this is indie, and maybe it is. I'm not sure. Flappy Birds, right? So another thing I can recognize, I kind of have a lot of history with games, so like I know a lot of games. Unfortunately, my brain, a lot of the usage has to do with games. So Flappy Cog, like if you can't recognize that this is a Flappy Bird clone, like, yeah, right? So this is something I would pass over as well. Like, who is trying to play a Flappy Bird clone in 2025, right? Here, we can just take a look at it. Just for example. Normally I'd go through this much faster, but just for example, I will
Flappy Cog, rooting his hands around the clock. He's Flappy Cog, balls deep, making all his squad.
Alright. I'm not
Happy says Mr. Fox.
I'm not even gonna say anything.
呢度究竟發生咗啲咩事啊？
Cantonese, whoa, the language of my people. Oh, this looks like Evil Within. I kind of like that. Evil Within is like one of my favorites. I don't play horror games, but I watched Markiplier play through it, and I really like Evil Within. I mean, okay, yeah. Kind of, there's some tropes here. There's some tropes here that they're trying to do. Generated one, okay. Uses AI. Had potential. Now it doesn't. Like, what? Why? Why? I don't understand why. I feel like there's a good foundation here, but this trope right here and combination with this, that's not cool. Right? Did they really have to go for this trope? I mean, it's whatever, but I feel like it's another trend thing, right? You're trying to cash in on what the Coomer audience ? Unnecessary, you know. It definitely looks like it plays like Resident Evil or Evil Within, though, which is pretty cool. But yeah, uses AI generated content. Like maybe one day the AI generated content thing will be usable, but currently in this current iteration where it doesn't source anything, you don't know where it's trained on, things like that. I cannot pass it off. Alright, asset shooter, guys. Asset shooter. I would pass this instantly. This is not even something I'd look at. I'm showing for the audience the methodology, right? This is something I would immediately pass. It's an asset shooter. Like, they just put a bunch of assets and like made it an FPS. This game, pretty good. I'm actually gonna put this on the list. This was gonna be. I was taking a look at these games yesterday. Like there was only 5 yesterday, but like I said, when I was doing it at 6-7 p.m., it doesn't show all the games. So if I do it a day later, I get to see everything. Instead of 5, it was 22. This game, it's based on it's a collectathon style game, and it seems like it's well themed and it's trying to do its own thing in its own kind of world, like Banjo-Kazooie. This feels like somebody genuinely wanted to make a game that they like played in their childhood, and they wanted to make it in their own world. So this is something I would put on this list. I can feel it, right? You can like feel like I feel like I could feel the developer, right? And like what they're trying to do from something like this, right? Yes, it's like a 3D platformer that's kind of a clone of Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie, the older Donkey Kong, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with making a clone of the game if it's truly representative of something that you want to make, rather than like trying to follow a trend, right? If it's something that like is really representative of you as the developer, which I feel that from this game, right? I feel like this developer, right? You see the Mario Sunshine platformer, like they're inspired by it. They're like, I like the Mario Sunshine floodless maps. I want to put that in my game. Yeah, completely fine. There's nothing wrong with being inspired or like even copying some things that you experience, like some games that you really like, right? So for example, like this is a game I'd be like, oh yeah, this stands out to me. I feel like it's really genuine to the developer who's making it. So this I'd keep. So I go through the list. I'd keep it in the tab and I just keep going through the list, right? AI generated, delete, right? You can tell, right? Once you've done this enough, you can just look at it and be like, okay, this is AI generated. Right? Game like this, I look at it, looks like a Vampire Survivors clone. Here, I'll just click onto it just to confirm, right? Normally, I'd just skip it, but I'm gonna click onto it. The trailer is not, music doesn't really go with the trailer. Just,
I'm so cool.
This is what I mean by trailer quality. Most of the games don't even match up. I just, the trailer is like instant like cut, right? Wow, it says it's a Souls-like. That's crazy.
Make it quick.
I'm not trying to bash. Okay, let me try. I'm not trying to bash. I'm just genuinely like, the quality, right? Was, you know, maybe this is this Orion CZ's like first game. Okay, that's fine, right? Your learning experience, right? But like, I feel like if you have to pay $100 to put something on Steam, right? And I feel like if you're gonna, like, I wouldn't mind if this game was free or on itch.io. I don't really care, right? You could do whatever you want. You could be as poor quality, high quality as you want. It doesn't matter to me, right? But you're trying to sell this game for money. You're asking me to pay $5 for this, right? And I'm like, okay, if you're gonna ask me to pay $5 for this, can you give me something that's better, right? That's like to some standard, because Steam doesn't vet nothing, right? Steam just lets you do whatever you want as long as you pay $100, right? Like, just have some more pride. Have some more pride in your work, right? Have some more pride. Just make a decent trailer, decent thumbnail, like something. You've made it so much time to make a game. Just put more time into the trailer. Put more time into the thumbnail. All right. So just the process, right? Normally I go through this faster. I kind of make an instant judgment. Chicken Up. But it's the only up game with the boy and the school bus thing. This another trend game. I skip it, right? Now this, I don't know what this is. I take a look at it, I'm like, huh, that looks interesting. So I would click into this one. Asset game. So skip. This looks like Vampire Survivors. Skip. It's like a point and click question mark. Okay, so if I can't see what the game was really about from the preview here, I also skip. So this is skip. Stylized? Okay, this game might be interesting. Idler doesn't seem like there's much game from it. Skip, right? Isometric. Okay, this looks interesting. Skip. Wait, let me double check. Oh, actually, let me take a look at this. Two humans. Right? This is The assets kind of don't fit together very well. Seems low effort. So I look at this, I would skip. This is probably, was it Let's Golf or something? I can look at it real quick. This looks okay. Horror walking simulator collectathon. This is a Slender Man ? But you play as a rapper, Slender Man in dinosaur. So I'd skip this. What? This is crosswords. Like, am I really gonna pay for crosswords? And the answer is no. Okay, this one looks interesting. Shallow game, right? How much game is there in your game? So like this one seems very, very shallow. So I skip this one. This one would also be a skip. Asset game just looks like a bunch of assets thrown together. Skip. This one looks interesting. Visual novel, it looks okay. Asset game, skip. That one looks decent. This looks like an asset game, right? The UI doesn't look polished, so I'd skip this one. If you guys look at the UI here, it looks very default in nature. So when the UI is very default, that's kind of suspect, right? When it really doesn't match like the game's themes, then like that's also a tell for me to like not look at it, right? Asset, another VR. Okay, it's VR, so different. VR has a different criteria. I actually don't look at VR games, right? So I skip all VR games. Not to say that the VR game is like bad or good. It's just I don't look at VR games, right? So games designed for VR is like a whole different set of criteria. I guess I could take a look at this one. Asset game, so I skip. Any game that's just a walking simulator with a bunch like assets cobbled together, I don't. Oh wait, we're already going to November 3rd. Wait a second. I've already went too far. The realm. Okay, so November 3rd will be for tomorrow. Okay, so out of all the ones that I chose now that I'm like interested in, I like look a little more carefully into it, right? So these are all November 2nd. Do a little AI check. I don't think this one's AI. The tower defense. Okay, stylistically, this game's interesting, right? I like the style choice. It looks like a. Let me double check. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm curious if this has. Should be. I like the style, tiles and the enemies. Funny, neat artistic style. UI is neat, matches. So this is a game where I'm like, okay, this is actually not bad, right? It's combining tower defense with cards, right? Like kind of, not necessarily roguelike deck builder, but like a card game tower defense, more so. Right? And then you have the vision mechanic where you open up more tiles. This seems like a decent game. So I would say that this would go on maybe positive leaning, negative leaning, or maybe just a notable release that I wouldn't cover. It's like the trailer music choice. The trailer is like, it's okay, it's passable. I'm curious why they would choose this music. But yeah, passable trailer. So this one, I'd say, okay, it gives me a thumbs up, right? So keep it in the tab. It's using the classic, the classic European soundtrack, the trolling music or whatever. It's one of the classic pieces. Golf with your friends, right? I hate to say it, but like friend slop ?
Hello? Hello? Oh, okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, this game doesn't look bad, but I feel like it just maybe following trend, but it kind of does just look like a fun, silly game. So this one gets a pass, right? It passes in my metrics, right? I kind of look at it; it's kind of like Friend Slaw, but it just kind of just looks silly. It doesn't look like it's trying to cash in on anything. It just looks like some people just wanted to make a silly game, so they made it, right? That's fine. That's fine. I mean, it's very clear what this game is about. It's an asset creator, which is fine. This is just totally fine. Yeah, totally fine. Totally fine.
Invaders masquerading as our gods have come to enslave humanity. You have been chosen to lead the resistance. The task ahead of you will not be easy. Their ever-changing armies are ravaging the lands to fulfill their dark agenda.
This definitely feels like an old school style isometric.
Thanks to the stolen teleporter, you can sabotage their efforts. But don't underestimate the enemy. There are sightings of beings never seen in our realm before, some even wielding the false god's magic. You will need to pick your battles wisely, as overconfidence could cost the lives of your soldiers, Commander. In the long term, you must keep the hope alive in the realm, establish new bases, research new technologies, manage your troops, and do everything.
So I'll say this. The aesthetic can definitely be a bit jarring for people, but this is kind of the aesthetic of old school isometric. It's kind of like the assets kind of don't match together. The UI doesn't really also match together. It's kind of like all over the place. But like that's kind of like the era that this game is kind of like fitting in ? I think they may have used like an what do you call it? They're using assets from like, I don't think they made these assets ? I'm not sure, but it feels like these are like pre-made assets for something that exists already. It's my guess that I'm gonna take a guess and say that these are pre-made assets or like already existing assets
to save humanity from becoming the slaves of magic.
It's okay. It's okay. This is very unusual. I don't think I've ever seen a game quite like this in terms of like stylistically. Very interesting. The mechanic is also very unusual. So this is very unusual. It interests me from being so unusual. I can't really say the game is probably not that good, but because it's so mechanically and visually unusual, like that, what, like digging through like what is going on here and why is it part of the game? This is definitely, I'll keep it on the list, but like it's gonna be like one of those notable things. Like I found it interesting, but the game doesn't look very good. Right? This game doesn't look very good, but it's interesting. It's like perturbing. Like look at this UI. This UI is like so unpolished, right? And then the assets like really don't match. Like it's not meshed together well, but it's just, what an interesting design choice. Very interesting. This is, you see how a lot of these assets kind of like don't match. This is what I mean. They kind of just like all over the place. UI doesn't really match either. I see the gameplay loop, but there's so many mismatching assets that it looks okay. The gameplay looks okay. It's okay, but the mismatching assets, in my opinion, are just, it's really off-putting. So this would be my standout. This would be standout. This would be, I think, positive leading. This would be my positive leading choice for today. And then this would be my negative leaning choice. And then these would be notable releases. So like if I go here, pull this out, right here, go. So standout release would be Adventure and Navi, right? The price is $20. The developer, HSA Entertainment. I take a snipping tool of the thumbnail. Give the notes, it's 3D. The 3D platformer akin to more like think that's how you spell Banjo-Kazooie. Mario 64. Maybe there's another one I'm trying to think of. The name is eluding me. Cedra. The old school PS1 and 64 era graphics. Worlds and environments. Well, theme, gameplay, like a neat tribute. I don't. Definitely a more casual game style. So. And then it has movement progression according to gameplay that is not really present in the trailer, but description mentions abilities, actions as you progress. Okay, so that's standout. Transport Legion. Go here. Transport Legion. The price is $9. USD, sells for $7.20. The developer is Asian developer. The paste without formatting. I don't know, type in Chinese. Wow. Pros. Stylistically, assets are stylized. Live seems to have good gameplay depth with the tower and building types. Unit and building types with the along with the expanding the map limited expanding with along with expanding the vision across the generated maps. There are varied enemy types that will change how you dealing with the encounter. What? How do I rephrase this? Varied enemy types that will change how you feel, how you go about, strategize, defend. Approach the account. Change approach. That's the word. Counter. Okay, I will say the Chinese trailer made it unclear what mechanics are present. A non-Chinese reader. Present, I could just say that. Sound design was not present. Sound design is unclear due to the trailer music. Let me check if there's another gameplay trailer. There. Looks pretty good. All right, there's that one. Super Serious Golf. Super Serious Golf. Price is what, $5? $5 USD, 4 on sale. Developer Carnage Studios, that checks out. Take that, copy, put it in here. Paste, pros, seems, pros. A silly game for you and your friends. Cons. Assets are rudimentary. All over the place. You need friends to all. I just say you need friends, a group. You need people to play with to really get any value from this game. It seems like a friend game trend, but seems like it's following. A more chaotic golf with friends. just be a silly game. Might be. Yeah, I think this game looks. This one right here. Let me put it back. I think this game looks silly. Yeah, silly game. I think it's all right. All right, notable releases not covered. Gingerbread. So this game, I'm like, where was the demand? Who? It's all right. It's not bad, but like, I wonder what audience this game was made. It's a snow make Christmas assets. Christmas assets simulator. Not bad. For what it is. That's that one. Slaves of Magic. Old school style isometric TRPG. Seems okay. Goob. Appears subpar, but has an interesting style and digging mechanic, coupled with it being platform. What? Excavating, digging, excavating, coupled. The art style is very, very, very interesting. And this excavation mechanic is like, what the heck? It's interesting. It's interesting. Well, I think excavation is the right word. Excavation. Burning land. Or like burning. I'll just leave it as excavation. A Stranded. The last one is A Stranded. It is an extraction. Crafting a ship top-down shooter. The assets are all over the place. But the game seems also okay. Then, so this would be a complete. I do a little Control Shift comma to make it fit on all one page. Try to get it. Nope. We do one more. Pull it up like this. Now it's all on one page. I get it to view full screen. Go to snipping tool. Dismiss this snipping tool. Grab page, do a little save action. And then we post it on Blue Sky. So that's the process. All right, that'll cut it for the stream. Want to remind, I'm not trying to bash on games here, you know, support indie devs, but definitely devs try to get your game play tested. Make sure like have some pride. Have some pride. Try to make something good, right? Good is, subjective, question mark, but like really, really try. Be honest with yourself, right? Be honest with yourself. All right. Call on the stream.